Hey everyone, I'm Heather and welcome back to my channel. So we are back today with the Radiants. In the last episode, we finally told our roommate Rayla about the creepy note that we received, and she's gonna check it out for us. So let's go ahead and get started. Time for today's electives. It should be astrology. We continue to learn all about the similarities and differences between the systems astrology and gain an understanding of their unique approaches to reading the stars. Okay. During my last class of the day, I receive a note instructing me to head to the headmaster's office. There's no other information. What could this be about? When I arrive in Professor Balin's office, I'm greeted by a face I wasn't sure I'd ever see again. Samia! Samia nods in my direction, and Professor Balin is quick to step in. Thank you for coming on such short notice, Miss Ash. Miss Almasi has requested a meeting with you on behalf of the council. Yes, the council's schedule is very busy, so there is not much time for advance notice on these matters. I see. I am simply here to inform you that you will have your first council evaluation in 1 week. What? 1 week? Is that a problem? Of course not. I'm ready. Perhaps if Miss Almasi explains a bit more about the evaluation process, you will feel a bit more at ease. Samia looks as if she'd rather do anything else, but she gives in to the professor's charms. This will be a simple test of your abilities to measure your progress and adjust your studies accordingly. How will they test my abilities? Not unlike any of the tests you've already had in your classes here. I'd expect some vision card exercises as a basis for measurement of your precognitive abilities. They will also give you some more specialized tests to see if you've managed to develop any additional oracle abilities aside from the standard future sight. Miss Almasi is referring to some specializations that seers can often develop as they sharpen their skills. Consider them like a unique extension to your naturally given oracle abilities. Well, as natural as they can be given the circumstances. Is there anything I can do to prepare for these tests? Just continue your studies as usual. This first meeting is more like an evaluation to help you determine what skills you need to work on. I lapse into silence as all my studies thus far run through my head. Have I learned enough? Have I chosen the right skills to focus on? Which ones are the right ones anyway? Well, I must return. Councilman Harrington is expecting a report, and he does not like waiting. Samia does not waste time with any goodbyes. She just disappears. Just like last time. I blink and she's gone. Can I learn to do that? I turn towards the headmaster and he laughs softly, obviously sensing my thoughts. Miss Almasi does that often. I'm beginning to realize that. How do you feel about your upcoming evaluation? I'm nervous. I don't think I've learned anything. It's hard not to be a little nervous. Remember, this is just a formality to measure your progress. No decisions will be made based on this test. You still have time to hone your skills further. How are your private lessons going? We have had 1! Honestly, I'm not really sure. I don't think Arian likes me very much. Mr. Files can certainly be a bit prickly. But you have to understand, as an oculi, he has only been exposed to traditional society for a few years. In social years, he's practically a newborn. That is such a strange thought. Strange but true, when inside the Echo realm, all an Oculus can do is answer the questions of the owner of their mirror. They rarely get to interact with more than one person, and while their magic gives them infinite knowledge, it does not teach them the social graces. I nod silently, thinking back to all my interactions with Arian thus far. I never even considered that he had had such limited interactions with others. It definitely makes sense. Well, I'm afraid I must return to work. Just keep doing what you're doing, Miss Ash. You'll be just fine. Thanks, Professor Balin. After alchemy class, I see Sindra whispering furiously with a tall, beefy-looking rhodolite guy in an alcove outside of the classroom. Their conversation looks kind of intense. Maybe it's Oracle's intuition, but I get a really bad vibe from the guy. Let's listen. I creep in a little closer, pretending to read a flyer on the wall nearby. I have no intention of going anywhere with you, especially not a formal event. I don't think you have any choice. You want to bet? Oh, so now you want to play tough. Other people may have forgotten what happened all those years ago, but I haven't. I was there, remember? So what? So, no one's going to want to touch you once that gets out. You're lucky I'm willing to stoop so low. The guy's very close to Sindra now. She recoils from him, turning her face towards the wall. This is getting intense. It's definitely not my business, but I feel like it needs to be stopped. I'll step in. It doesn't feel right to let this go, no matter how I feel about Sindra. Hey Sindra, Professor Daniel needs you in the alchemy lab. Sindra continues to look away, not meeting my eyes. The rhodolite student doesn't even attempt to hide his annoyance at the interruption. We'll finish our conversation later, Sin. His voice sounds menacing. He clearly doesn't care that I'm standing right here. I turn towards Sindra, who's now staring at the floor, her face unreadable. Is everything okay? That guy seems really pushy. What do you care? I guess I don't. I just don't like seeing someone bully another person. No one bullies me, human. If I have any enemies, it's because I'm top of our class. Because I'm going places and they aren't. Is that why that guy was threatening you? No, he just wants me to go to the Festival of Embers with him. So what? Lots of people want to go with me. Okay, I guess you have it all handled then. I turn to walk away. Hey. Yeah? Don't get involved with that guy. He's bad news. Thanks for the advice, I guess. Time for today's elective. Geomancy. Today I learned more about the history of geomancy, which mostly died out in the human world after the Renaissance period. Even Radiants don't use the geomantic methods much anymore, but they still consider it an important tradition of centuries past. Magic control. Hopefully the magic control and magic power are things we need. I'm almost at the end of the hallway when an arm grabs me from behind, a hand clapping over my mouth. I make a muffled yell, but the person is already dragging me towards the nearest classroom. I attempt to break free, but it's no use. As soon as we are in the room, the arm releases me and immediately closes the door to the classroom. I whirl around to face my attacker and stop in surprise. Kai? Kai makes a frantic shh motion and peers out the window of the classroom. I move towards the tiny classroom window and look out. The hallway is empty. What are we looking for? Kai shakes his head and continues to watch. Moments later, I hear footsteps stomping down the hallway. Kai stiffens, but he doesn't take his eyes away from the window. A large hulking figure, maybe a professor, appears in my line of sight, completely covered head to toe in some sort of goopy beige substance. Is that oatmeal? Kai makes the same shh motion again and shoves us both down below the window, backs towards the door of the room. Despite my curiosity, I dare not make another sound. A few minutes pass and Kai peeks up at the window again, giving a big sigh of relief. I think he's gone. What just happened here? Kai finally looks at me and gives a sheepish grin. Well, it was kind of a prank gone wrong. What kind of prank? I meant to get my buddy Ewan. It was going to be great. A bucket of oatmeal I stole from the kitchens. All over his head. I didn't exactly expect my botany professor to show up. Does he know it was you? I can't be sure. I ran out of there so fast. Good thing about being a kitsune, I'm a much faster runner than most. He couldn't catch me. He only saw someone running in the opposite direction. Lucky break. Luck? Nah, this is pure skill. Sorry I grabbed you like that. I was worried if you saw me, the professor might ask you where I'd gone. Did I totally freak you out? Of course not. I could have taken you. Kai looks at me with a mischievous grin. I didn't realize you'd be so soft until I grabbed you. What? Yeah, you're all soft and squishy, like a teddy bear. Blush. Well, I can be pretty cuddly. Let's blush. That's fine. I'm not sure how to respond to that, so I stay quiet. I'm sure Kai notices my discomfort. Don't worry, I have a pretty sweet teddy bear already. I don't plan to replace him. So, is it safe to leave now, oh master prankster? If I didn't know better, I'd say you're disparaging my pranking abilities. Well, based upon the one prank I've witnessed... Shh! Don't even say it! This one may not have gone as planned, but you haven't seen anything yet. I was the prank master at my old school. I just need to work a little harder to re-earn my title here. Of course. Well, I look forward to witnessing your success. Oh no, the professor's coming back this way. Time to go. You never saw me. Kai's gone in a flash and I'm left alone in an empty classroom. The botany professor lumbers past the door, still covered in goopy oatmeal. It doesn't seem he will find the culprit. I give a small sigh and head back to my room. It's time for this week's club meeting. Tania is practically vibrating with excitement when she sees me during the next class meeting. Heather, tell me everything. Did you hear the ghost again? Did you see it? I give an excited Tania the rundown on my ghost experience from the previous week. However, I decide to leave out the part about the ghost insisting I murdered him. I certainly don't need that rumor to start spreading. So he doesn't even know his name? Nope, he doesn't remember much at all, only that he died in that room and that he can't leave it. This is fascinating. So you think you might be able to keep talking to him until you get some more clues? Maybe. I'm not really sure. I don't know where to begin. Well, we can work on that together. Let's dig into this mystery. We spend the rest of the meeting discussing various ideas with the other members about what could lead us to solve the mystery. Tania compiles a list of all the students that died at Sarenvale, hoping that one of these names might trigger the ghost's memory. Do they not have pictures? Dex is surprisingly quiet during the entire meeting. I know he doesn't believe in ghosts, and I expected some snide remarks when he heard about my experience. Instead, Dex remains silent, though I catch him peeking at me every so often. Okay, check this out. Tanya shoves a piece of paper in my face. I take it from her, noticing there's a list of names printed on it. This is a list of all the student deaths at Sarenville in the last 100 years. That's a bit more people than I expected. We live in a dangerous world. I glance over the list of names. There are about 36 total. Most of them were deemed accidents, but there are some that are listed as murder. I think this will be a good starting point. See if your ghost recognizes any of the names on this list. Sounds like a plan. Great. You can get going in a minute, but first I have an announcement to make. Tanya calls the meeting to attention. The other students who have been chattering amongst themselves fall silent. Everyone, I have some exciting news. Next week there will be some exchange students arriving from Starminster Academy. There's a ripple of excited voices through the room. This is apparently very interesting news to the club members, but I have no idea what it means. Dex leans over in his chair. Starminster is infamous for its dark and mysterious past. Oh really? What's so mysterious about it? According to legend, there's a curse on the place. Supposedly, in each graduating class, one student disappears right before the ceremony. Some say it's just a coincidence, but it's been happening for hundreds of years. I've also heard that there is supposed to be a great treasure hidden somewhere on campus, but nobody has ever found it. Treasure? Like gold or jewels? No, like something important, something that could break the curse if it was discovered. That's not all. There's also supposedly a secret tunnel under the school that leads to a labyrinth. That one's just silly. Most schools have tunnels underneath them. Even Sarenville Academy has them. But not all schools have a labyrinth. The labyrinth thing sounds a little bit more plausible than the curse. A chorus of voices from the other club members erupts around us. Everyone seems to have their own theories about what makes Starminster Academy so mysterious. If all these were true, I'm not sure how any student would survive there. Eventually, Tanya calls to order the classroom. Okay, so it's obvious we have questions about the mysteries of Starminster, which is why the exchange students visiting is going to be so exciting. I'll bring a couple of them here so we can interview them. Surely they must have great stories. Once the meeting ends, everyone disperses and I gather up my books. As I walk out of the classroom, a voice calls out to me. Hey, Heather. Did you really see a ghost in there? Come on, you can tell me the truth. I sigh heavily. This is exactly how I expected him to react. I just wish he would stop asking because I know he's not going to believe me. I did see a ghost. Trust me, it's unbelievable to me too, but it happened. But why do you think it was a ghost instead of some other supernatural creature? Maybe because the ghost told me it was murdered. What other type of creature could it be? I don't know. I just think you should be careful. You're a human, so you probably don't know about all the dangerous stuff out there. Why are you so concerned about me? I'm not. I'm just being practical. Fair enough, but I didn't actually see anything that would make me think there's any danger involved. That isn't entirely true. The ghost already proved to me that it can throw books around the room. Who knows what else it can do? Just watch yourself, okay? Dex turns away from me and then stalks off down the hall without another word. He's such a strange guy. As soon as I walk into the cold room, I feel the sensation of being watched. My eyes scan the room looking for signs of movement. It's completely still and quiet. I call out to the empty room. Hello? This time the ghost appears almost instantly. I jump backwards when I notice him. Whoa, don't sneak up on me like that. The ghost doesn't seem bothered by my reactions. In fact, he just stares at me intently. I shudder a little, feeling unnerved. I suppose I need to get used to this if I'm going to continue coming to this room. You. Do not finish that sentence. I know what you're going to say. I did not kill you. He continues to stare at me. He doesn't say anything else. Hey, you promised you'd cooperate if I help you find out what happened to you. Do you want my help or not? I do. Okay, great. Then let's tone down the creepy stares, okay? The ghost's face flickers, as if he's trying to figure out how not to stare creepily. Finally, he manages a soft smile. That's better. I knew you could do it. Now I want to see if we can find out what your name is. How? I have a list of names here, students who died here at Sarenvale. I want to see if any of these names ring a bell. I settle into one of the chairs and the ghost follows suit, sitting in the chair opposite me. So, you aren't completely incorporeal, huh? What? You can interact with objects. Yes, sometimes I can. Other times my form is less solid. But you can't leave this room? No, if I try, my form dissipates. Then I can't reform for a while. Why do you think that is? I don't know. Well, let's get started. I'm going to read these names, and you let me know if any of them sound familiar, okay? The ghost nods silently. I begin reading through the list, stopping after I've said each name aloud. The ghost gives no reaction to any of the names. None of those sounded familiar to you? No. You don't recognize any of the names? No. Let's take another look. Once again, I read the names aloud, and once again the ghost fails to give any reaction to the names. Still nothing? Nothing. I sigh and push the list aside. Somehow I was sure we'd be able to find the ghost's identity this way. I wonder if there's some other method I haven't considered yet. I guess we'll have to keep searching. Why are you helping me? Because you're stuck here until you can move on, right? I figured maybe if I gave you some closure, then you could go on to wherever you were going. Is that true? Yeah, I think so. At least I hope so. But either way, I'm not giving up on finding out who you are. The ghost smiles softly at this, and we sit in silence for a few moments. In the meantime, I feel like I should have something to call you. It doesn't feel right to just call you the ghost. What would you like to call me? It's not up to me to decide. Just tell me whatever strikes you as fitting. Then I choose to be known as Alistair. All right, Alistair. You can call me Heather. That's a nice name. I will remember it. What's it like, being trapped in limbo, I mean? If I had to describe it, I suppose it feels like being lost. Like I do not belong anywhere anymore. As though I have been exiled from the place where I should be. I suppose that makes sense. It must feel strange. Strange is an understatement. There is a lot about it that I do not understand, but I have come to accept it. Accept what? That I cannot escape here, that I am only allowed to roam around this room. So long as I stay within its boundary, my form remains intact. But whenever I venture outside, then I disappear. At first, I tried to fight against it, to force myself out, but I soon realized I could not. I have accepted it now. It was not until I saw you that I started to believe things could change. Because you think I'm the one that killed you? I know it. Yes, you've said that before. I'm hoping I can eventually convince you that it was not me that was responsible for your death. How do you plan on doing that? By finding out who actually did kill you. But for now, I've got to go. I'll wait here until you return. I suppose you don't have much choice. I worry that this statement may be insensitive to a ghost that is trapped in the room against his will, but instead Alistair smiles. I will see you then, Heather. After history class, I wait until the other students have completely filed out of the room before stopping by the professor's desk, holding the contraband book of oracles under my arm. I've read the entire thing cover to cover, learning as much as I can about every oracle in history. Unfortunately, as fascinating as it was, I am no closer to determining what could have happened to my predecessor. Ah, Miss Ashe, did you enjoy your reading? I hope it was enlightening. Yes, I found it fascinating. Have you read the entire thing? Of course, I make it a point to read all the books in my collection at least once. Do you have questions about what you read? Well, to be honest, I wanted to read the book for a specific reason. I wanted to try and find out more about the oracle before me, Sebel. Yes, I imagined that you would want to know more about her. What happened to her was such a tragedy, and it must have been difficult to witness. Sebel was beloved by many, and she would have likely served a very long time. But of course, the book was written before the recent events, so it may not have given you much closure. I'm not sure what I expected. I guess I was hoping for some insight into what might have happened to her. That's understandable. I gather the matter is still under the investigation by the council. They do not yet know the circumstances of her death, but with their many resources, if it can be discovered, they will do it. Do you really think so? That they'll find out what happened? What did she say to you? Professor Mordain leans forward in his chair, fixing me with a look so serious I'm a little taken aback. What? Sebel, you were the last to see her. Surely she said something. Yeah, she did. The professor does not say anything, just continues with the same intense stare. She said she was sorry. Professor Mordain nods, as if it was the most expected response. Anything else? Not really. She didn't really have time. Of course. I'm sorry. It was rude of me to ask. It must have been a difficult thing for you to witness. My need for knowledge has gotten me into trouble again. Forgive me. I nod silently. He was not the first one to be interested in what happened in the street, but I know very little more now than I did when it happened. I feel almost responsible for her death, even though I know deep down I'm not at fault. Someone else did this. Are you concerned for your safety, Miss Ashe? I shrug, honestly not sure what my answer to that question really is. I can't really give you any information that will put your mind at ease, but I do know that you have a lot of people watching out for you. It would be difficult for harm to come to you here. Despite my reservations, his words do make me feel a little better. If I find any additional information about the matter of Sebel's death, you'll be the first to know. I'd like to help you in any way I can. Thank you, Professor. Anytime. Now, you'd better go. You don't want to be late for your next class. Okay, time for today's elective. And I guess this is where we're going to go ahead and end, because we should have a tutoring session, I think, after this. So yeah, that's going to be everything for this time. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!